What's up, guys? It's episode 50. We made it. We're halfway to hundo, right? We're going to celebrate. We're going to have a party. I'm not gonna lie, I thought that was gonna sound better. I thought it was gonna be like a ceremonious, is that a word? Like a really exciting intro to the show, but it just scared Kevin. So 2 birds with 1 stone. Amazing. Welcome to episode 50, guys. We made it, and I could not have done it without you. Thank you so much for returning 50 times. You came back 50 times. When's the last time you did something 50 times? Besides shots of tequila in the last month, because that was me. In the last couple weeks, yo, I did Dry July, right? I did Dry July, and that was great. But here's the problem with Dry July, is I genuinely thought that doing an entire month of no alcohol was gonna make me feel so good. I thought that I was cleansing out the demons, right? You know when you're chugging a bottle of wine when you're young and they don't tell you about the sediment crap in the bottom, and then you drink the sand in the bottom and you're like, oh, but then you have to play it cool because you're underage drinking. And like, yeah, you knew about that the whole time. I totally knew there was sediment at the bottom of this wine, but I drank it. And you're just chewing it and you're like, everything's fine. That's a true story. That happened to me at a Renaissance fair. Your girl was at a Renaissance fair. By the way, thank you to my best friend Cassie for buying me these ridiculous 50 glasses and this 50 crown and my 50 sash and my halfway to 100 banner that I hung on my set awkwardly too high. Cats are taking a massive dump right now. Perfect. I hung it awkwardly too high, which means I had to change the framing of my shot to include it, which means everything's all messed up and it looks bad, but it's okay because we're halfway to hundo and we're doing it. Fitty, right? Kevin, come back. Kevin. Your name is Kevin now. Come on. I'm not gonna play the flute again. I'm not gonna play the. Okay, I can't look like this. But anyway, thank you to Cassie for the accessories. It really helps me appreciate this milestone. What on earth was I talking about? Oh yeah. So I was at a Renaissance fair and I drank the sediment at the bottom of the wine. Not supposed to do that. I was trying to be cool. I was young. I was camping at a Renaissance fair and they were passing the wine bottle around. And then your girl was like, I'm going to be cool and I'm going to finish the bottle. Because like, look how cool I am. And so I took the bottle and I chugged it, and I didn't realize it was one of those wines that has like sand in the bottom, like literal sand that's like settled on the bottom. And I just drank it. And it was like in my teeth, yo. It was on my tongue. It was on my tongue. But like we're sitting in like a circle telling fantastical ghost stories about griffins and unicorns and whatever, saying huzzah so much at this Renaissance fair that I just had to play it off like everything was cool and I didn't just eat sand. It's really fine. But anyway, guys, episode 50, I had to take a 2-week break in order to not have an emotional meltdown, right? I had to take a 2-week break from the podcast in order to not have an emotional meltdown, and that is called self-care. I think that's what it is. I don't know. I'm not sure what's self-care and what's not, because sometimes I'm like 3 tequila shots right now would be really taking care of myself. I would feel really good if I did that. And to me, that's self-care. So I'm not sure I'm the person to go to if you're looking for self-care tips, because I'll be like, just get let's line them up, right? Let's get the salt, let's get the limes, and let's do it. Because when you're doing tequila shots, there's a process. You got to get salt and you got to have a lime. Okay, so here you need 4 things to do tequila shots correctly. You need your hand. You need the back of your hand, right? And you're going to use that to slap bitches away who tell you not to do tequila shots. No, I'm just kidding. There's no violence involved in tequila shots. You need the back of your hand. You need salt. You need a slice of lime, and you need a shot of tequila. Right? And the process is you lick your hand. Super unsanitary. Would not have flown at all during COVID times. Perhaps what started COVID? Not sure. That's a conspiracy theory that we're not gonna go down that rabbit hole. Anyway, you lick your own hand. Don't lick somebody else's hand. You do that yourself. You lick your own hand. You take the salt. You pour it on your hand after you've licked it so it sticks to your hand like Scotch tape. Like, so now you have a handful of salt. And then there's an order. And I'm not always quite sure about the order, but I'm thinking that maybe, okay, what do you do? So you have the two things. Do you suck, lick, and then shoot? Do you suck, lick, slurp, or do you lick, slurp, suck? I don't know. Maybe it's to each his own, right? Maybe to each his own. Maybe if you're more of like a lick, suck, slurp type of person, then maybe you can do that. But maybe I'm like a suck, slurp, lick type of person. I don't know. This is a personal preference, but those are the steps in any order. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, episode 50, I was going to not have an emotional breakdown. I kind of did have an emotional breakdown a couple episodes ago if you want to go back and watch that. I was very concerned about if I'm still a hot girl having fun, because as you age and as your podcast reaches 50 episodes, you often start to think, am I too old to be acting and dressing the way that I do? Or is it a free country and I can do whatever I want? Or are people making fun of me behind my back? Or should I change my ways? Or should I be the same? Or should I still listen to my Avril Lavigne CDs over and over and over, because is that just high school trauma, just persevering? What am I doing? Or should I start listening to jazz? These are all options. We got to keep our options open. But no. I was actually fine. It was just the 2 weeks right before my kids were going back to school. And my youngest, Calvin, named after Calvin and Hobbes, he is going into kindergarten for the first time. And it's the first time I'm going to have 2 kids back in school full time, right? Kitty. So even now I'm feeling lonely, and I feel like I need a cat with me, because I've just been kind of crying like periodically, unexpectedly throughout the day, because I'm like, my son, who I love so much and is my little buddy, he's in school full time, and they're going to change him, right? He's going to get friends, and they're going to tell him, like, what if his friends are like, AC/DC is not cool and you should listen to Taylor Swift? What would I do? What would I do if that kind of horrible advice was whispered into his little innocent ears? What would I do if he's changed? And what do you do if your kid comes home and they're like, I like Taylor Swift? What do? You move and you become Amish. That's what you do. You move into the country, you wear aprons, you churn butter, and you don't listen to Taylor Swift. And you become Amish. Don't listen to my advice. I don't have good advice. But anyway, the cat, see, this is how lonely I am. This is how nobody loves me anymore. My kids are gone. They're in school. My cats don't even want to be a part of my show anymore. I'm calling for them. They usually come when they're called, and they're not today. All by myself, don't want to be all by myself anymore. How much did you cry during the opening ceremonies of the Olympics when Celine Dion came out and sang that song that none of us could understand because it was in French? How much did you cry? Well, if you didn't, you're a monster, because she's got some kind of sickness. And I set it up like I was going to be like, look, let me tell you about this miraculous thing that happened. And I'm like, the details are fuzzy on my end, but she is sick in some way. And then she came back and she sang on the Eiffel Tower, and you should cry about it because it was very touching. But no, are you guys sick of the Olympics? Because you shouldn't be, because it was only 2 weeks, and that's not enough time to get sick of something, right? They're over. I didn't watch the closing ceremonies, but I'm not done with the Olympics yet. Bro, I love the Olympics. I love the Olympics. And I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it today. Don't turn on. Don't stop. You're reaching for the button. You're like, I'm going to turn it off because I'm sick of hearing about the Olympics and I'm sick of all the things. No. My take is unique. So sit down and buckle up. Here we go. Yes, we are going to talk about breakdancing. Yes, we are, but not in the way that you think. Okay, so if you're a living human with a cell phone or an internet account of any kind of social account, you have been sent a meme of the notorious breakdancer Rachel Gunn from Australia. Everybody's losing their minds because she literally does look like me after a bottomless mimosa brunch with my girlfriends, where I think I can do anything. The last time I did a bottomless mimosa brunch with my girlfriends, I convinced all of them to go to a secondary location it was like a home goods store. Hours later, I found bags of home goods and like home decorations in my house that I don't remember buying. I don't remember going to that store. I don't remember buying the things that I bought. Who knows what I did? It's all a blur. It's all a blur. But I do think that I probably did some flailing similar to Ray Gunn. And let me tell you, I think she's awesome. And I have not been following the story. If you're not familiar, breakdancing was allowed for the first time in Olympic history this year. Like they're like, we're going to do it. Out of all the sports and out of all the things that are not in the Olympics, we're going to choose breakdancing to feature in front of the globe, in front of the whole world. And we're going to get everybody's best breakdancer. We're going to gather them at the Olympics and we're going to make them compete against each other. And it was all going seemingly fine until a certain windbreaker wearing Midwest mom somehow wandered on the stage and challenged somebody, doing such moves as the kangaroo hop and the sprinkler and the flailing around on the bathroom floor, not with the flu, not knowing whether you're going to shit your pants or barf. It's a move I've done many times. You know, when you have the flu and you're like, I'm not sure which end it's going to come out of, so I'm just going to roll around on the cold bathroom tile until something happens, because at least I'm not on carpet. So those were 3 of her signature moves, and let me tell you, they were awesome. They were so awesome. And here's what breaks my heart. So I have not been following the whole thing, but I really, really hope that she has embraced her new fame, being the new meme of the entire internet. I hope she's embraced it and she's going to get a PR person and an agent and turn it into $1 billion business. I hope she owns it, right? And I hope she doesn't go the route of like, everybody's bullying me, because in my opinion, nobody's trying to bully you. We're just, this is what we needed. She's a hero. She's uniting the world. That's what the Olympics should all be about, right? She's uniting the entire globe. We're all collectively laughing with her because we all feel for the first time that we could be in the Olympics. How many times are you watching an event, right? And the commentators are like, now here comes Natalie Johnson. She's 17 years old, the oldest woman to ever compete in this event. It's an absolute miracle that she's still walking upright. Wow, 17 years old, still trying to compete. She might as well just die already. And then you're sitting at home with your bag of Tostitos that has such little chips left in the bottom that you had to cut it. You know, when you have that large bag of chips, but there's so little chips, the crumbs at the bottom, that you don't want to keep reaching your hand all the way in. So just the fat ass you take the scissors and you cut off the top half of the chip bag so that you have a smaller chip bag. So you're on your couch and you've got your small chip bag and you're just, and you're stuffing your face and you're hearing the commentary talk about how this 17-year-old athlete's the oldest athlete to ever exist in this sport. And how brave they are for stepping into the spotlight and trying to do any kind of athletic endeavor. And you're like, and you're like 30, right? I swear, even when I was like late 20s, I was feeling bad about myself because I was like too old to do anything when you watch the Olympics. But finally, all of us fat asses at home eating our tiny bag of chips, we were looking at the screen. We're mid-30s. Mid to late 30s. We're just going to glaze past that. Mid to late 30s. We're looking at that like, hey, I could do that. Finally. Bro, I can do this. Give me a year. Give me a year. Give me enough tequila shots. Give me the lick, slurp, suck. Over and over. Give me a stage. Here we go. We're doing it. We're doing it, bro. She gave the whole world hope. She really did. She united us. We're laughing together. We're having a good time. She gave us all hope. I love this woman. She's a hero. And here's the problem, right? Is that now the headlines are coming out that breakdancing will no longer be allowed in the 2028 Olympics. Way to ruin our fun. Thanks a lot. But let me tell you, here's the Lisa Foyle's insight. You've heard all this before, right? You've seen all the memes about ray gun. You know. This is all, I'm just being hacky right now, right? But here's the originality coming at you right now. Here's the Lisa Foyle's original opinion about breakdancing in the Olympics. Here's why we can't do it anymore. Because it's the only sport where you can grab your groin at your opponent and get points for it. Can you imagine in gymnastics in the middle of a floor routine, one of the girls grabs their crotch at another girl as part of the floor routine and gets points for it? Can you imagine? It would be top news. People would lose their minds. But here we are in the breakdancing competition. The guys are like doing the thing and they're spinning and they're like, and they're like dancing. And they're doing all their things, but then sometimes they grab their crotch at the other person and they get points for it. And that's why we can't have breakdancing in the Olympics. That's it. It has nothing to do with ray gun whatsoever. She, I think, is more of an argument to have more of it, but the grabbing your crotch of your opponent to get points for it, we can't have that. I mean, personally, I enjoyed it, but you just can't have a sport where you grab your crotch of your opponent and get points for it. You just can't do it. And also, can I just say real quick, I'm never going to call it breaking, okay? It's break dancing, and that's fine. And I can call it breakdancing because I'm an elder in the scene. Okay? I did dance competitions since I was like 3 years old, like a super tiny age. Like I don't know how I did it. I was absolutely a prodigy. Like my kids at 3 were just like wandering into traffic and they're like, what are cars? Where I was like, on stage being like, jazz hands and kickball change and pirouette. I was like winning trophies at 3 on stage, whereas my kids were just like drooling on themselves, like Teletubbies, you know? So I don't know what happened there. It's all been downhill, really. Like my champion winning 3-year-old dance competition self was peak Lisa Foyle's. It's the best I've ever been. It's just been downhill from there. But, because I've been in the dance world for so long, I feel that I can comment on dance-related things. When you have a warehouse at your mom's ranch in Idaho that has upwards of 200 first-place trophies in it, then you can comment about dance-related issues, because I have that. My mom has, like, all my trophies still. I'm like, why do you have these? She's like, they're just nostalgic. I'm like, can you not have these? But when you have a warehouse full of trophies from all your dance years and all your competition wins, you can comment on things. And let me tell you, I'm not going to call it breaking. I'm going to call it break dancing. Because breaking is what I did to our glass blender when I was hungover and didn't grab it hard enough when I was taking it out of the cabinet. That's breaking. Breaking is when I approach an intersection and the light turns yellow at a very inconsiderate time. And I have to decide whether to floor it or slam on my brakes. And I do slam on the brakes every single time. And now they squeak, and it's a real problem. Breaking is what I did to Brendan Shane's spirit when I hit him with a metal lunchbox. I'll do it.
What?
Come here. Oh. That's breaking. And what's the big deal? What's the big deal of calling it breaking versus, actually, let's go back to the lunchbox thing real quick. Okay, so let me just break this down. So that sound for the audio listeners, that was me hitting Brendan Shane, a frequent co-host of this podcast. That was me hitting him with a lunchbox. So let's play it one more time. I'll do it.
What?
Come here.
Oh.
Let's do it in slow motion. That'd be good. Yeah, that's what I did to his head. He had a lump on his head for like days after that. And I felt really bad. But at the time, it was really satisfying. You hit somebody with a lunchbox, you get that sound out of it. That's really satisfying. So breaking, I'm not going to call it breaking. I'm going to call it break dancing. And that's okay that we add dancing. It doesn't make it lame. It doesn't make it dumb. Sometimes you got to specify. Dude, we've been dealing with this in the dance community for way longer than these guys who spin on their head. For way longer than the guys who spin on their head and pose like any 5-year-old boy loves to pose. Way before these guys pose in a pose that a 5-year-old boy would do and then hold it for a second and then grab their crotch at their opponent and go, what? Or at least they go, what? With their eyes, because I don't think you can talk during breakdancing. So long before all of this, we had jazz. Okay? Similar thing. You have to specify. You can't be like, oh, hey, guys. Oh, where's Todd? Why isn't he meeting us here at the Cheesecake Factory tonight? And you're like, oh, yeah, Todd is doing jazz. Okay. That leaves a lot of questions, a lot of unanswered questions. Oh, Todd's doing jazz? Okay, is he hitting random piano keys while a saxophone plays? Is he going in a smoky room where the chairs are velvet? What kind of jazz are we talking? Is he on stage? Is he on stage plunking a piano while there's a saxophone and also an upright bass and also the chairs are velvet? Is that what he's doing? Or is he doing a pas de bourrée with spirit fingers? Which one? We need to know. This is important information. So you can't just say jazz. You have to say, oh, he's playing jazz or he's jazz dancing. That's fine. Us in the jazz dancing community are not offended by adding the word dancing at the end. So why do we have to say breaking and not break dancing? I have no idea if this is even a controversy. I'm creating it for episode 50 because that's what we do. We keep the excitement going and we start conspiracy theories here on Temperamental, episode 50. Is it breaking? Is it break dancing? What's the big deal? What are they keeping from us? What's the propaganda? Let's break it all down. So all I'm saying is that the Olympics is ridiculous, okay? It's always been ridiculous. And if you take it too seriously, then that's your fault, right? Okay, let's really think about this. Most people that I know watch the Olympics because of the, say it all together now, gymnastics, okay? We're tuning in for the gymnastics. Hey, quick question. Is there another time you cared about gymnastics in the last 4 years? Is there any other time in the last 4 years that you cared about gymnastics or only just these 2 weeks? Did you just learn about who is on our American team during the opening ceremony? Dude, we get so loyal so fast. We're so American like that. I mean, I'm sure there's other people there's people from other countries watching this, but like I'm American, so I know Americans well. And man, we can just like jump on board something so fast if it's like America, right? Like we're tribal like that. We're like, yeah, who's on our team? Oh, what's her name? Simone Biles and Giles and Sonny and the other two. Yeah, those are our girls, man. We're gonna kill them. We're so loyal to these 5 girls on our gymnastics team who we didn't even know their names a week before the Olympics started. And now we're just like, oh, we gotta beat Italy. We gotta beat Brazil. Like, we gotta take them down. Yeah, kill. Like, we get so into it. And we don't even know. Like, we have no idea. And the sheer amount of pressure we're putting on these poor girls is insane. This should not happen. Did you watch the beam finals in the singles competition for the girls? Dude, they fell so much. These girls were falling so much left and right. I'm like, yo, is this soccer? So many of these athletes falling. I'm like, is this soccer? Because everyone's falling so much. Okay, first of all, one girl falls. Okay, she got the jitters. That sucks. Two girl falls. That sucks. She probably was taking the energy off the other girl who fell and it got in her head and she got the yips or whatever. So then she fell. That's fine. Three girls fall. Okay. Interesting. Okay, we're going to let it go. Four girls fall. Check the beam. Check the beam. Check the beam. Like, why is no one checking the beam? This arena for the gymnastics was built on an ancient burial Parisian Indian ground. I don't know. There's some kind of there's dead people underneath this arena, this gymnastics arena. There's dead people under there. It's cursed. There's ghosts. Something is wrong with the beam because all these girls are falling left and right like they on a soccer team. What's going on? Okay? But no, it's all like, like the audience do. Can you imagine? There's so many insane things about gymnastics. But one of the insane things is that all the events kind of go on at the same time. So you can be doing the beam, right? And you can be concentrating so hard on the beam. It's the hardest event. The beam's as wide as a cell phone. It's so small. You're doing front flips and back flips. You're doing crazy shit on this tiny little beam. But at the same time, somebody's doing a flow routine to Ghostbusters, Ghostbusters. So you hear the song behind you. They're trying so hard to concentrate on their beam, and it's just something strange in the neighborhood. Hurry in a car, Ghostbusters. Meanwhile, they're trying to do a quadruple backflip, and if they do anything wrong, the smallest bobble, everybody in the audience is like, like they just announced she was diagnosed with cancer. That's their reaction. Calm down. You're the problem. We're the problem. The audience, the commentators, we're the problem because we have decided we're so obsessed with gymnastics for 2 weeks, every 4 years, that we put so much pressure on these 5 girls who we don't even know their names. And then we're going, when they do the smallest bobble while we're on our couch with our tiny bag of chips, having just done 5 tequila shots. We are the problem. We're the problem. Check the beam. # check the beam. Because they're amazing. And it's the pressure that we put on them. And it's also the ancient Parisian burial ground underneath the beam. It's many factors. But all of this aside, I'm going to tell you the dumbest thing about gymnastics that has bothered me for years and years. Speaking of beam, we can all agree that the flips and stuff and the spins, the flips and the spins and the front aerial, an aerial, that's when you do a cartwheel with no hands, the aerials and the front flips and the back flips and all the crazy things they do on the beam. They do that, but in between all the moves, they do this kind of flowery little chicken dance, okay? And I'm going to demonstrate it for you right now. So if you're an audio listener, you might want to check out the YouTube video for this one. Here we go. Okay, next up is Lisa Foyle's on the beam in a much anticipated event, okay? She is mounted. There she is. She's good, okay? And she's going to do her first really hard move. Here she goes. Just pretend I did a flip or whatever. Okay, but then as I land the flip, I'm going to go like this. You can't make fun of ray gun when every gymnast is up on the beam doing the chicken dance in between their backflips. We don't hate the little floofy dance in between the tricks, okay? But it's fine. I mean, it's fine. Look, I'm not a gymnast. You guys can do what you want. You can do whatever you want. I don't care. You can squawk like a chicken if you're up there. Like when you're up there, you can do whatever. In fact, okay, hold on. Let's play the lunchbox Brendan head hit one more time. Go. I'll do it.
What?
Come here.
Oh.
Look, you can do whatever silly dance on the beam that you want to, right? Maybe that's the only fun part. Maybe you're under so much stress as a gymnast that you just can't take it anymore, and the little floofy chicken dance that you get to do in between moves on the beam's the only thing that's saving your sanity. Good, let's keep it. I mean, maybe it's like, okay, when you see like a free throw, oh my God, when you see somebody in basketball about to shoot a free throw shooter, sometimes they have that weird little ritual where they like spin the ball forward and bounce it, and then they spin it up in the air, and then they kiss it on with their mouth, and then they bounce it again, and then they like, and then they kiss it one more time, and then they wink at it, and they're like, hey, what do you want to get dinner after this? And you're like, oh, why are they talking to the basketball? That's really strange. And then they bounce it a couple more times, and then and then they make the basket because they did their ritual before they shot the ball, right? So maybe that's what it is. Maybe when they're on the beam, they got to do a weird little chicken dance ritual before they do the quadruple front flip in order to just get their mind in the right spot. And that's great. I'm all for that. I'm just saying you can't make fun of Ray Gun if you're not going to make fun of the floofy guys, the floofy dance moves on the beam. That's all I'm saying. Double standard. But I'm actually really sad about breakdancing not coming back in the 2028 Olympics. That sucks, dude. It was so much fun to watch. I watched a bunch of events. That one was by far the most fun to watch because there was so much about it where I just kept thinking, I can't believe this is happening right now. And that happens so infrequently. I mean, during the political season, it happens constantly. But just like, life gets really mundane and just things just happen over and over, and you do the same routine every single day, and very little surprises you anymore. Like it's not very often that you read a news article where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm shocked to my core. Usually you're like, oh, this horrible, you read an article, it's like this horrible thing happened. You're like, yeah, that kind of makes sense because that horrible thing happened a month ago, and horrible things just happen all the time. I'm not shocked anymore. Nothing shocks me. So then when you have moments like breakdancing at the Olympics where this is like the weirdest, kookiest thing you've ever seen on a global platform where people are grabbing their crotch at the other opponent and getting points where you're just like, this is awesome. This is a new thing. So I was super stoked to have it. And I'm sad it's going away. And I hope that it actually does come back. But anyway, that's what I got. That was episode 50. I had so much more I wanted to talk about, but your girl just rambled on and on and on and on and on way too much about the breakdancing in the ancient Parisian burial ground that's underneath the beam. Check the beam. That I ran out of time. But anyway, so I have a couple announcements to make. My band is going to be playing regularly, on a weekly basis here in Vegas. I can't announce where yet because it's a really big deal, but if you hear me talk about my band a lot. If you actually want to come see us play, you're now going to get a chance like all the time. Like once a week, we're going to be playing like every Tuesday. So plan a trip to Vegas, make it a Tuesday. Come see my band. It's going to be awesome. We're going to have so much fun. I'll play the kazoo. I'll play the tambourine. It'll be great. And then also a movie I was in called Pool Party Massacre 2. It's like an indie comedy horror film. Their Indiegogo just went live. So we're trying to get funds to get us through pre-production, right? Like we already filmed the movie and it looks good and it's fun and it's great, but we have to get to the finish line. We got to get the music and the scoring, the editing and all that fun stuff at the end. So if you want to throw a few bucks to the Indiegogo, that would be awesome. It should be a really fun movie, and I can't wait to talk about more like behind the scenes stuff once that comes out and I can reveal spoilers. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me for 50 episodes. It's insane. Like I remember the day I thought about this stupid podcast. Like I thought up the idea and I'm like, I'm gonna do a podcast like by myself because I don't have any friends. So I'm just gonna host it. It's gonna be great and people might watch it. They probably won't, but Let's just try it, you know? Just try it. Let's just try doing the sprinkler and the kangaroo hop on a global stage and see if it resonates. And it did resonate. And it did resonate. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Cassie, again for all of my decorations for my 50th episode. And, you know, it's all downhill from here. So if you want to come back next week, great. I love you. If not, it's been real. All right, bye. All by myself, don't wanna be by myself anymore. And I wonder why Kevin doesn't want to hang out with me. Doesn't like my singing.